Welcome. I'm Evelyn Rudy.
And I'm Paul Shackman.
And this is Santa Monica on Stage, where we talk about the people and venues that make the city of Santa Monica the cultural destination for the performing arts.
Today we're chatting with two fine theater companies that call Santa Monica home, but tour extensively. We're kicking it off with Santa Monica Playhouse, the home of one Evelyn Rudy.
Then we're checking in with Teada Productions to discuss their work in telling stories from underserved communities.
And we have two special performances coming up. So let's get started. Established in 1960, they've been going full speed ahead ever since. Santa Monica Playhouse is a great cultural institution, and we are thrilled to have Chris DiCarlo and Barbara Keegan here to talk a little bit more about it. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely. Chris, I want to start with you. So you're the new kid. You just started there, right?
Yeah, I've been there for, next month, 52 years.
52 years?
Yeah, I started there in 1964.
Wow.
And actually, yeah, about then.
How did that happen?
Well, I had a girlfriend at the time, and her best friend's father was the founding director of the Playhouse. And I've been in theater since I was 3, but I was invited to see a play, and I saw a play that changed my life in my whole understanding of acting. It was a life-changing moment. So
what was the play?
The play was Sartre's No Exit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically a three-hander, and the chemistry was palpable to the point where it took my breath away. It was funny, it was tragic, it was all of those things. And I said, this is the kind of theater I want to do. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. And you've stuck it out for the long haul.
Yes, yes.
They just don't let you leave.
No, I wouldn't leave if I could, actually. I think it served me well as an artist to be able to practice in the venue. One day I'll get it right, but you know, I just like the work. I enjoy working with actors and artists, and I enjoy working with non-artists, people who want to practice, who want to learn about art, who want to discover it in their bones, because we all have it. And I survived Vietnam, and I think that's what really changed me. It allowed me to tune in to our real humanity and how fragile it can be under the wrong circumstances. So I think theater is a safe place to explore all those possibilities without the consequences. Mm-hmm. And it gives us all a chance to explore our demons, our joys, our angels, whatever it is we have. And I think all of us need a place like that. It's a special place. It's unconditional. Yeah. It's not therapy. It's not a spiritual path. It has those undertones and overtones, but the practice itself. And so giving people the opportunity to discover that, and over the years it's been extremely, I don't want to say fulfilling for me because it's not an ego thing, but it's such a gratifying experience to watch people blossom in their own voice, in their own abilities, their own passions, and come out with things that you just can't imagine, and change the world, literally change the world. We have alum who are doing things I just can't believe, but just on a practical basis, just community members coming in year after year and sharing that has been awesome.
Wow.
Bobby, you have Chris beat by a whole year, because I believe you started when you were 2.
Yeah, thereabouts. Well, I had a little toy piano, like Schroeder in Peanuts that the family had gotten me, and I scared them because they heard me playing the commercial jingles that I was hearing on TV, and I was playing them perfectly by ear. So Danny Kaye actually was a friend of the family and was in town to do a show in Chicago, where I began my life, and he said, well, I know this place where they can take children and they test them for various aptitudes, And that's how it all started. They said, "Oh, she's a musical genius," and I said, "Ha ha," fooling them again. And been singing for my supper ever since.
And how did you find your way to Santa Monica Playhouse?
Well, can I just say, I mean, after hearing what Chris just said, how can you not thank the gods for putting you together with a director like that?
Yeah, that's.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I loved really how he phrased all of that.
Oh my goodness!
Truly,
it's so fortunate as an actor when you find a director that, when you're working with people, you can develop a shorthand, and that makes things so much easier and just a joy to work collaboratively. And when Chris gives a direction, he knows, okay, Bobby's going to get it. And the minute he opens his mouth, I'm like, okay, the thing with the thing. So it's a joy. It's a joy to go to the theater and rehearse. It's a joy to go to the theater and do a show with a cast that you love, cast from heaven. So on the whole, I'm kind of having a nice time doing Almost Perfect. And
tell me about it. Tell me about that. Tell me about Almost Perfect.
Well, it's the 29th anniversary of the world premiere, which occurred at the Santa Monica Playhouse of Jerry Mayer's play.
Yes.
Jerry is a wonderful, wonderful playwright, writes in the style, and I don't like to make comparisons per se, but if you have to compare, you would say in the style of Neil Simon. Mm-hmm. Jerry has a wonderful background in television comedy, and then at some point in his career said, gee, I think maybe I could write a play. So he began writing plays, and I think all of his plays have premiered at the Santa Monica Playhouse. I think all under the direction of Maestro DiCarlo here. And so Almost Perfect is the 29th anniversary of the world premiere.
Wow.
You were in another one of Jerry's plays years ago,
Yes,
right?
I was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like when Chris said he's been at the Playhouse for 52 years, I was like, that's amazing since you're only 48. How did you do that? But yes, the first show I did, and when I first met Chris and Evelyn, was about 25, okay, I'll say it, 25 years ago.
Wow.
Jerry Mayer's play, A Love Affair. And we ran that for a year.
Wow.
2 sold-out houses.
Wow.
And I think Jerry finally said, well, we only had 99% capacity last night. We didn't have to turn anyone away, so it's time to close. We've run it for a year, and we had 1 seat open last night, so time to close.
I think that's called being spoiled.
Chris, there's a Jerry Mayer-a-thon at the Playhouse with a world premiere play coming up.
Yes, there is.
What do you think? You think there's a part in it for Paul?
Possibly, if you're up for it.
You could play husband and wife.
We could.
She's a matchmaker.
Well, we really are. We're just pretending that we don't know each other, but hi, honey.
Hi.
See you at home.
Okay.
Method, method.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
But you have been working with Jerry for a very long time.
Actually, I did not direct every one of his plays, but I directed his second play, which was called Aspirin and Elephants, and we did a revival of that last year.
Aspirin and Elephants.
Aspirin and Elephants.
All right.
And again, it's another family comedy that did very well. We ran it for 9 months this time. It was, but we're doing a series of Jerry's plays in celebration of his work and 30th anniversary of our relationship. Mm-hmm. And our audiences really enjoy his work. It's fun, it's light, and it's at the same time it takes you to places in your own lives where you can look at it and laugh and look at it and ponder and just it doesn't want to preach or anything. It's just a good evening of solid entertainment, but you walk away with something, and I think that's we want to bring that to the community as well as the cutting edge things that we do and all the other kinds of things that we do. Like our short burst theater, which is really for the community. We we want to involve the audiences, the community in this process of making theater. So we've created this process called short burst theater, as we've named it. We take people, we put them together for a very short period of time and get them to create a play in a very short time.
That's great.
Cool.
And present it.
Really, I want to thank you both for joining us today. It's really, really a pleasure. You've just met them.
Just today.
It's wonderful. So stick around. We have a special musical performance from the Playhouse coming up next.
Discover 30 years of opera in Santa Monica. Discover the Verdi Chorus.
Here to perform Do You Want to Be Friends from Dorothy's Adventures in Oz, please welcome Megan Fleming and Molly Gilman.
Oh, it's a long way to Oz, Miss Dorothy. I'd better accompany you. Why would you do that? What are friends for? Are we already friends? Aren't we? How can you tell when friendship begins and strangership ends? You simply straighten up, look around, and drop a small suggestion, and politely pop this question. Do you wanna be friends? Are we gonna be friends? Were you sent to be? Were we meant to be? More than just a few loose ends. Is it smart to be friends? Shall we start to be friends? Is it fair to be? Would you care to be? Do we dare to be friends? I know there's no need to stall, no deed I'm at all afraid of. Nevertheless I shy, never I guess have I, to tell me what you're made of. Nobody wants to be first to begin the conversation. Nobody wants to begin to. Somebody's got to give in, nor no one will ever be friends. Friends. Somebody's got to begin the invitation. Somebody's got to begin, but nobody wants to begin, nor no one will ever be friends. It's a scary sort of feeling. Makes you ponder what to do. Not to know with whom you're dealing. Makes you hesitate. Makes you wait and debate till you reach 108, which could be a little bit late. Makes you want to say, after you. No, after you. No, after you. No, you. No, you. Who will be first? Who will be first to bridge the gap, break the ice, shake the bow, take the plunge, make the step, sneeze, I'll fall, I'll try, I'm shy, I'll try. Do you wanna be friends? Somebody's gotta begin the invitation. Somebody's gotta begin to. Somebody's gotta begin to be. Were we meant to be? More than just a few. Be friends. Is it smart to be friends? Somebody's gotta begin the invitation. Somebody's gotta begin to. Somebody's gotta give in. You think I'm meant to be? So sublime to be. Yes, it's time to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 friends.
Teada Productions has a strong commitment to social justice and telling stories of and by people of color. We're thrilled to welcome back our friends Leilani Chan and Ova Saupeng to tell us more about Teada and what they have in store for audiences. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So good to have you back again. And I'm always so fascinated by the fact that you have so many different ways of pronouncing Teada, because to me, Teada, it speaks to the fact that you think outside the box and that your whole concept is not one of rigid, this is the way it has to be. So how did Teada get started?
Well, we started wanting to do work about people of color. We weren't seeing on the mainstream stages, shows that talked about our background, our history, and we wanted to start exploring how to bring those stories to the stage, and working with different communities of color, and also working with communities to see their stories come on stage.
Yeah, and we have complex backgrounds. I mean, I'm from Laos. I'm Lao American, raised in Hawaii and now living here in California. If you look at this beautiful lady Leilani, she is of mixed heritage as well. And so to be able to bring tira and theater, and we grew up as young kids, doing theater. And so,
in Hawaii.
And how do
that's
we
very
then,
specific.
how do we then, have a voice on stage as well, so that we're, sharing our stories. So that's how Tira came to be.
Yeah.
Oh. And how did Global Taxi come about?
Global Taxi Driver was, we started collecting the stories before we even knew we were going to do a show. And our previous show, Refugee Nation, had us touring around the country and traveling to different countries. And we found that a lot of those refugee stories were mirrored in the stories of the taxi drivers. And so we always go to a new city, and who's the first person you meet? Usually a taxi driver. Right. And then you find out that taxi driver hasn't necessarily been there much longer than you have. 2 weeks, 2 months. And then after that, we started collecting stories, and we found even like in other countries, it was a job that even like in Bangkok, Ova was able to talk to one of the drivers because the drivers could speak Thai Isan, which is what they speak in the rural areas of Thailand, which is near the Thai border, the Lao border, or the Thai-Lao border, and so therefore Ova could speak with them because he speaks Laotian. And we found out that most of the taxi drivers are actually farmers because they come in between harvest seasons to make money, and then at harvest season they go back to their farms. So it seemed like it's a job for immigrants even in other countries.
Yeah. And as we have traveled and talked to taxi drivers and connecting with communities that are taxi drivers, we find that it's a gateway occupation for a lot of immigrants and refugees. And that's what we found out. I mean, we did work in Minneapolis as well as here in LA, and in our travels, that is the case, that many of them are from either West Africa or parts of Africa. In Minneapolis, there's about I think a large Somali community. And so the taxi business there is made up of Somali immigrants. Here in LA, which is interesting, is there's a lot of Eastern European that we found out, Armenian, and Iranian as well. So it's really interesting, and Russian as well. And so it's really interesting. Each city has its own almost flavor of who's there and who's driving taxis.
It seems some of them were doctors or lawyers or professors in other countries. It's fascinating to me, and you've done it all over the country. Hopefully you'll be able to do it globally as well.
We would
along
love
with some of your other work, the pop-up theater and what is it, Ensemble?
The Ensemble Exchange, that's coming up.
How would somebody support something like this? If they listen to this and think what a fabulous idea it is, how would somebody be able to support you and get in on it?
Well, it depends on what level. Is it certainly, we're trying, now that we've premiered Global Taxi Driver, we just premiered it in March at East West Players. We now have a finished piece that we want to be able to tour around the country and book us. Book, tour, but we like to do residencies with communities. So going to other cities and getting a sense of which communities are there and who is driving the taxis in those cities would be really exciting to us. In Santa Monica, we have a couple events coming up. Pop-up theater we're doing in Santa Monica. And so we're doing workshops with youth, and we've partnered with Pico Youth and Families, so we're going to be doing some of that work.
What exactly is
Pop-up theater?
Yeah.
So Pop-up theater is now going into its 3rd year. We've been partnering with restaurant workers in Los Angeles and Los Angeles County and putting on performances. So for those shows, we really want to be able to have restaurant workers be able to perform in the shows. So they're more of a short workshop, rehearsal, and then site-specific performance. So we're going to be doing that sometime soon on the streets of Santa Monica somewhere. And then we have our Ensemble Exchange. We've invited Linda Paris Bailey from Knoxville, Tennessee to come.
She's with Carpetbag Theater Company.
Yeah, and she's one of the leaders, the oldest African-American theater company in Tennessee. And we're bringing her her out to work with us and do an ensemble exchange, so that we're going to have some slots open to the public, so that those who are interested in learning about developing theater and doing ensemble theater can be part of that workshop with us at the Miles Playhouse.
And you are married,
yes.
right?
Can you we're finishing each other's sentences.
That's how it works.
You travel together
Yes.
and you work together and you create together. And how does that work for you?
Well, we make it work. We wouldn't know how to exist any other way. And in some ways it's great. I mean, we work together, we create together. We have a 4-year-old who actually tours with us because we're both on the road, so he has to come with us. And we make it work.
Here's our role. Let me just give you some insight to this couple right here. This power couple, okay?
What's he
Theater
gonna
Productions. All right, so Leilani is the visionary. She has this amazing vision for just, what's to come next. Hey, what are we looking for 5-10 years from now? What are we gonna do? And so far both of us have created Refugee Nation, which is our flagship show that we've both written and also performed in, and we actually shared excerpts of it just recently in Minneapolis and Philadelphia, because it's celebrating Southeast Asians 40 years here that have been here. 1975 was when the first entry of refugees from Southeast Asia, and then but I'm kind of like the worker guy. I'm the every man hat. I'm the doer.
Planner,
She's
the doer.
Yeah.
Is this do or do what you're told?
Somewhere both.
So we work it out, and but it's fun. It's fun. It's invigorating. It's exhilarating, and we learn a lot from each other. And I mean, there are times where it is very challenging because we're both very strong leaders and very strong-willed individuals. But we find ways to lean on each other. There are moments where what's great is that we get to travel and do what we love to do together as a family. I mean, I think that's what's so special about
That's pretty great.
That
we
what
do,
could
so.
be better?
Yeah.
Does your 4-year-old perform with you yet?
He wants to.
He thinks he can. And I always am telling him, you have to be able to A, sit through a performance, and B, attend rehearsals.
Yeah,
He doesn't like to hear that.
Not
He just
yet.
wants to warm up with us and go on stage.
Yeah. I want to perform. I want to perform with
I want
you,
to be on
Daddy.
stage. I want to be
Yeah.
on stage.
So, but he's a great
we'll
energy
see what
to be
happens.
around.
I think it's amazing and wonderful that the two of you are a couple who are creative, and as far as I'm concerned, there is no better way to go through life than having a partner who is doing the same thing that you are, and you're all on the same page. So
Thank you.
we are very excited to have you back and very excited to see all of the different things that you are doing. And we hope that everybody else will come and see it too, because your work is universal. Your
Yes.
work speaks to all people and what they are going through in all countries. Thank you, Leilani. Thank you,
you.
Ova, for being here with us.
Thank you.
Stick around, because up next, we get to see these two in performance. We'll be right back.
Riding a bicycle can seem like child's play.
But only if you're playing indoors.
Riding in the real street has real consequences.
Play it safe. Ride by the rules. Cars and bikes need to play together.
You called for a taxi to airport? Okay, good. Come in.
Hey, whoa, a moose! Guys, a moose just walking down the street.
It is Alaska.
I know, but still,
Do you have my bottled water?
I'm sorry, miss. I do not have any bottled water.
It's not Uber. It's
But I do have insurance.
that's funny, because
I
you know,
like
like
you.
Uber
You're
and
good. Yes. Okay, let's take you to the airport, huh? So tell me, where do you come from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, yes, Los Angeles. Yes. I know Los Angeles. I used to live in California. I have many friends there.
Why'd you leave?
Too much Russian mafia, Too much Russian mafia there. I do not like it.
Okay. Wow, look at all that ice. Wow.
So, tell me, what do you two come here to Anchorage for? Huh?
We're at the Youth Activism Summit.
Oh, really? So you come here to do what? Huh?
We taught a workshop at the conference, and we helped with voter registration.
Very good.
Voter registration? You tell them who to vote for?
No, we just register them so they can make a choice.
Wow.
Really?
Wow, look, I mean, there's really nothing but ice over ocean between town and the airport.
That's a lot of ice.
That's a lot of ice.
Oh, well, you know what? It's a big year they could vote for the first black president.
Yes. You know, I do not trust this Obama. And not because he is black. See, where I come from, the liberals are the communists.
What do you mean by that?
It is the communists who imprison us and make it bad for us. That is why I do not trust the liberals, huh?
We're passing glaciers.
You two are liberal?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask this question. Very important question. I want to ask you, what do you think about abortion? What do you think if you are a man and a woman aborts her child?
Okay, I think that the man gave up all of his rights when he didn't use a condom.
This conversation is over.
Yes, it's over. Let's just get to the airport.
I really enjoyed this.
I really did too.
I think I said that last week.
I think you always say that. I say it too. This is so exciting. Meeting the different groups in Santa Monica, the different arts groups. I really, really had a good time.
It's kind of fun watching you when you're the one who's kind of written and been in charge, and watching you kind of be mother hen in the background. It's kind of great.
Well, I can't help it, really. I just feel like I want to get in there with them and do it myself.
Almost do it for them?
No, not do it for them, because I really love them and I think they're great. And I wasn't kidding about getting you in a play at the Playhouse.
Oh, we could talk about that.
Yeah,
that might
we
be
should
kind of
definitely
fun.
talk about that.
I like Chris's perspective.
Oh, it's wonderful. I have a hard time keeping up with him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm the nuts and bolts person, and he is the one with the philosophy.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys haven't killed each other.
We haven't yet, and I'm so glad that Leilani and Ova haven't killed each other either.
Right?
They're awesome.
I don't think I'll ever look at taxis the same way again.
No, I won't either, but I love what they're doing, and I hope a lot of people get to see the work that they're doing. And that's our show for today. Every week, we're continuing our journey learning more about the arts groups that make Santa Monica's cultural world so rich.
We look forward to seeing you next time as we introduce you to a few more of our friends here at Santa Monica On Stage.